This is Poland, a country home to over 40 million people and boasting the 21st largest economy in the world. What makes all of this surprising is that just 2 decades ago Poland was in dire poverty. It took only 2 decades for Poland to overcome poverty and has even sparked curiosity about whether it will become the next Germany. Poland's economy is outperforming many countries. It successfully navigated global financial challenges, such as the 2008 economic crisis,
What in the world is happening on Wall Street?
and emerged as one of the fastest growing economies in Europe. It even surpassed countries like Ireland, Slovakia and the Czech Republic. What makes this achievement more remarkable is that Poland is thriving compared to other former Soviet-aligned countries that were behind the Iron Curtains. Even Russia and Ukraine, was endowed with substantial industries, larger populations and abundant natural resources, find themselves trailing behind. It is understandable why many people might believe that Poland will eventually catch up to Germany. For one, Poland has shown no signs of slowing down. Its economy has been steadily growing for the past 2 decades, establishing itself as one of the industrial powerhouses in the European Union. However, there are potential challenges that could impede or even stagnate Poland's economic progress. Before delving into those issues, let's first explore a few chapters about it. How did Poland's economy reach this point? What sets it apart from other countries? And can Poland sustain its growth and ultimately catch up with the wealthier nations? Poland has a rich history, however, we can say that modern Poland, as we know it, truly became a country in 1990. While Poland wasn't directly part of the Soviet Union, it was under its rule. The government was chosen by the Soviet Union and Poland had to use communism. Poland's economy wasn't in good shape under the Soviet Union. The situation was getting out of hand after the mid-1970s. Poland was in huge debt and they suffered from mass migration. More and more people were losing trust in Poland's currency to the point where several stores would only accept US dollars. Economic troubles of communist Poland remained until the fall of the Soviet Union. To add more context, the Soviet Union was really struggling economically since the 1970s. The USSR was way behind in terms of efficiency and innovations. While communism helped the USSR decades ago, it now became its greatest weakness. The government oversaw everything and thus they didn't really have to compete to make the production process. The Soviet Union realized that such system was highly inefficient and they pushed for the 1965 Soviet economic reforms that would essentially measure enterprises' success by its profitability. It goes without saying that such reform caused lots of controversy and it wasn't implemented as it was seen as capitalism. Poland, being the satellite of USSR, was leading the same life. Despite all of this, the fall of the Soviet Union wasn't as cheerful as many imagine.
The red flag was lowered. It had been supposed to come down on New Year's Eve, but Mr. Yeltsin and his supporters clearly couldn't wait. This was the view of its descent from inside the Kremlin. In its place, the Russian flag was hoisted over what is now no longer the Soviet Union.
For one, lots of countries came into existence and they faced numerous difficulties in sorting everything out. They essentially had to establish completely new rules for the unfamiliar to them economic system of capitalism. What made New Poland more successful than other Soviet Union-aligned countries was that they managed to make the transition much smoother compared to their counterparts. On top of that, they had a more stable political and civil process relative to other new countries. For one, other countries instantly started transferring state-owned properties to individual investors and other big corporations. For many countries, including Russia, this created a sort of oligarch class that would later have monopolies on many industries. Monopolies, for most part, are hugely devastating for economy. For market to function properly, it should be full of competitors that are willing to compete against one another. Even though it is still called the shock therapy of Poland, it was still less shocking compared to other countries that came into existence. Poland was making steady and okay progress. They managed to pick up a good industrial base after a decade of privatizations. New owners and investors were able to run Poland's remaining industrial base with more efficiency. So you might ask, what really made Poland attractive to investors? Well, Poland managed to join EU in 2003 and that decision really propelled it towards high economic growth. For one, it meant that Poland could now essentially easily enter one of the wealthiest markets in the world. Countries of European Union were too eager to invest in Poland. It was simply too good of a deal to miss out on. A country that had decent remaining industrial base, population of almost 40 million people, cheap labor and lots of natural resources were among top reasons that made Poland so attractive for investors. It also helped helped a lot that Poland was geographically really close to main European economic powerhouses such as Germany and France. Joining European Union meant that Poland could now avoid extra tariffs that Union imposed on outside economies. For example, if non-European country managed to produce car radio for $100 and Poland managed to produce it for $120, then Poland might still come out on top as the outsider will have to go through extra layer of taxes that countries of EU don't have to go through. This is good and bad at the same time. For one, Poland can have easier time to capture the EU market. However, it also reduces the need for more competitive manufacturing. Thus, it might have difficulties competing worldwide. Despite huge growth, the growth might not be permanent. Poland, just like many Eastern European countries, has a huge demographic problem. Even though Russia-Ukraine war increased Poland's population, such population gain will not really be enough for decades to come. Poland, just like many other Eastern European nations, suffers from low fertility and highly skilled Polish workers to get a job in Germany and essentially receive better pay. If it goes that way, Poland might lose significant amounts of people and thus lose production capacity. Other developed nations, such as the United States and Germany, is growing population by huge immigration. However, it seems like there is not that much of a demand and political will to open Poland for mass immigration.
In European Union is Poland. So don't give us this rubbish about the need of educated immigration, as we heard yesterday. We don't need your doctors. We don't need your engineers. Take them all and pay for them. We don't need them. You know why? Because there is a zero terrorist attacks in Poland.
What can help Poland is the current geopolitical situation. More and more companies and countries are trying to diversify their manufacturing. Companies that realize that they could no longer rely on a single country for all of the production, so they started diversifying their supply chain. This had now caused increasing investments in manufacturing in several countries, including Poland, Mexico, and the United States. If Poland somehow maintains the status quo as an industrial powerhouse, then it could essentially see continuous increase in GDP. This could be quite similar to Mexico, as both of those countries managed to become industrial giants after joining special unions. Thank you for watching to the end. If you have enjoyed my video, please subscribe it so you will not miss out on my future uploads.